All right. So this is a play on the revolution will not be televised sort of thing. I thought it was kind of clever. I don't know. You may not think so. Whatever. So the revolution will occur right after I finish watching this anime, bro. It speaks to the fact that as much as people will talk about we need to have a revolution or we need to free the people and all this sort of thing, you'll find that most of these folks will be like, I love 90s and 80s movies, or they'll say stuff like, according to the ADL. It's like, bruh, you think the ADL won't go against you and your organization if there is a hint of anti-Semitism? Come on. This is why, in my opinion, when you hear about the revolution, it means nothing. You realize that this stuff is not going to occur tomorrow, and even if it did, what would really change? Like I say, I mean, say what you will about the Bolsheviks or whatever the case may be, but you know, they did what they went in and it was bloody and nasty, and of course they attempted to destroy religion. They were militant atheists. I think nowadays people try to they try to appeal to everybody, and then they appeal to nobody. But you realize that this is where we are after what occurred with the Patriot Front guys yesterday. And you see people like Vosh, of course, praising the anti-fascist action of cops because of it in his title. I didn't bother watching the stream, but when you see them praising the cops, you realize that it doesn't mean anything. You realize that these folks are just selling you a lifestyle. And that as much as they claim to hate capitalism or whatever, is that they are part of the system just as much as you are, probably even more so. They are reliant on it, And you realize like Revolutionary Left Radio can go ahead and do their videos or do their, podcasts where they're, screaming and saying, "Oh, fuck these guys. We care about the little babies." And give me a fucking break. It's all just tough talk. It's all just bluster and everything else like that. You realize that most of these folks ain't gonna do shit. Like I said, there was a time when I puffed out my chest and acted like I was gonna do something, but it's like at the end of the day, most folks realize that this system is just gonna continue on. They can claim to be against capitalism or they claim to be against this, but then when it comes to talking about sports. Oh, what do you think about, and of course they all soy faced about sports or about minute anime or something like that, or about, I don't know, Steven Universe. It's just like, and you realize for the majority, yeah, I'm sure that there are some MLs who are like, yeah, we're dedicated to revolution, smed fascismu. But for the most part, that's what it is that folks who just, you know, it's just a social club, you know? And that's where we are in today's world. For people like me, I'm older. I just do my job. I go home and I watch YouTube. I don't really watch that much TV. Um, and really, I get bored of YouTube sometimes. So I'm just like, who cares? But that's where we are. A lot of folks are just getting older, and so, like I say, I mean, only boomers really watch YouTube anymore. Even they're watching Twitch, or they're, I don't know, they're watching Disney Plus or something like that. Who the fuck knows, or Paramount Plus or whatever. I don't really know what the statistics are, but that's where we are. I mean, I hate to keep repeating myself, but it's just folks talk a lot of shit. Um, you also, of course, see a disdain for people that don't live on the East Coast or West Coast. Of course, this goes back to the sort of right wing idea of like coastal elites and shit like that, which is very true. Folks in California and New York just see the vast, emptiness of the United States, generally speaking. The flyover states, like Wyoming or the Dakotas, or even, well, to a point, Minnesota. Chicago's there, of course. They talk about that, and maybe Dallas, Fort Worth, or something like that. But in general, um, they see these as flyover states, and of course, in general, they are pushing for getting rid of the Electoral College, which I think is a huge mistake. The Electoral College is the only thing that at least gives lip service, and it's not that good even at that, but it is the only thing that gives lip service to the idea that everybody has a vote, that everyone has one vote, and that your vote counts, it matters. Once you get rid of the Electoral College, and I know I repeat this over and over, we're saying, I think, once you get rid of that, everything outside of California and New York and bigger places, like Houston or Chicago, or where the big metropolitan areas, even Minneapolis, St. Paul, outside of those areas, there's no reason to go to Montana. There's no reason to go to Iowa, for the Iowa caucus. There's no reason to go to those places, and those places will simply be ignored. And I've said this in several videos before, but it's worth saying, because once that's gone, that's not to say that the Electoral College is some great thing. No, it's not. But it's the only thing. It's the only thing that gives us the idea that we all have power over that, over who is the president. And it's just a very sad thing. Now, of course, people will say, "Oh, well, they're gonna try to, break away. They're gonna try to, we're gonna try to have balkanization." I don't think they want to do that. There are too many boomers who, as much as they want to a point, they still believe in the idea of America. They still believe in the stars and stripes, and the idea that we can all get along and all that sort of. It's all pitiful bullshit. This sort of idea of we need to come together as a country. Those days are gone. Is that eventually somebody's gonna have to wake up and realize it's like that's not gonna happen. And these people, I'm gonna quote Sam Hyde, these people want us dead, and they'll laugh about it. They don't care. These people don't care. They simply want to live their lives where they can, have their, I don't know, they can get their money, and they can, as long as, trans people are treated all right, and they can go to their gay pride parades or whatever, and live their sort of libertine lives, then they don't care. That's really what it is. That's what leftism is. It's just allowing people just live their libertine lives and just do whatever the hell they want. Go out and drink and party and have sex whenever they want, and they can have abortions, and no consequences. Now, of course, they'll say, well, there are consequences. Sure, we want these laws and everything, but that's really the main focus of it. It's just they want to be able to do whatever the hell they want. And how dare those old fuddy-duddies stick in the muds are holding us back. I went on a tangent, I apologize, but it does make me realize that this is what we're in. And ultimately, the narratives that people talk about mean nothing. And they're simply puppets, and that there are no real revolutionaries in this country. There are people who talk about it, sure. And I would say, Patriot Front is pretty damn close, but I think that, generally speaking, people who talk a lot, but they don't want to do anything about it, and they aren't willing to go off the grid or whatever, and they sure as hell aren't willing to work with other countries like China or Russia. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. All right. But that's the feeling, is that you realize that We want an independent socialist movement. It's never worked that way. It has never worked that way. But anyway, I'm repeating stuff I've said over and over. You just you want to be. This is also the thing. I'm going to go ahead and just finish up with this. You wish you could become a normie again. You do. You wish you could just simply enjoy sports or enjoy whatever movie and stuff like that. But if you've gone down the road that a lot of us have. Hell, I haven't even gone down the road as deep as some people, believe me. But if you've taken steps towards looking into the way things are, even on a socialist level, looking at the way the U.S. has, invaded countries or whatever, once you go down that path, you don't want, it sticks with you. You can't just go back and just enjoy a movie and not see the cues or whatever, right? Or you'll see somebody, and you'll see something, and you'll see the way someone shakes their hand. They shake hands, and they're like, "Oh, that kind of looks like, Freemason handshake or whatever," right? You can go ahead and disagree with it, and disagree with like conspiracy theorists and the way they do things. But once you have that knowledge, why would you go back? Anyway, I think that's all I have to say. It's just more exasperation and realizing that even if a revolution did come, not to say it would anytime soon, but even if it did, I don't think many people are willing to give up on the luxuries that they have, being able to, watch their anime, or whatever, go through, what is it, Crunchyroll or whatever, watch it through them or whatever, right? And play their games on Steam and shit like that. I'm a boomer, but I know some things, but just exasperation. Anyway, that's all I got. Hopefully you can commiserate with me. Hopefully you kind of understand the feelings that I have. And that's all I got. See you later. A goodbye.